Wow. Holy crap, dude. Are you kidding? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, look, I'll say this. You see the Buckeye stripe that has been painted very nicely on my wall. You know the Buckeye blanket that sits behind me when I record videos. But it is impossible, in my humble opinion, it is impossible to not feel happy for Jim Harbaugh and for the Michigan Wolverines right now. How do you, I mean, unless you're an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, in which case, look, you guys, Jalen Milroe's phenomenal. You guys are going to be back next year. This is going to be a very tough pill to swallow. But the Michigan Wolverines stymie Alabama goal-to-go situation. They limit Alabama, or not limit, they stifle Alabama on 4th and goal. It's a low snap. I don't think it's the play that Alabama wanted to run at all. I'd be very surprised to learn that, yep, that's exactly what we called a Jalen Milroe sneak run up the middle. It was a low snap. They had receivers in motion, and Jalen Milroe just kind of had to take it himself and get stonewalled. Michigan is heading to the national championship to play the winner of either Washington or Texas. Let's do a sort of post-game wrap-up here on this game. Hopefully you guys enjoy these kind of videos. By the way, they're kind of more just freelance and me talking about what I'm watching during the game. If you want to see me do more of them next year, please let me know. But, wow. I mean, I go on here and I say that Michigan looks like the better team in the first half. Now, I did give a fair warning out there to Michigan, and let's be honest, to myself and all of the Michigan faithful out there, that this is Nick Saban. He's one of the best at making second-half adjustments in the game, and you saw that. I mean, it looked like a completely different offense there for Bama. It was totally different. Totally different. And they played really, really well. Really well into that second half. There were a couple of plays there where Bama definitely could have gotten more going, but Michigan couldn't do anything offensively. I mean, Bama had them figured out. All of the misdirection and the 11 personnel and everything that Michigan was trying to do more of here just didn't work in that second half, which can be really demoralizing for an offense to find out, look, I mean, that's what worked all throughout the first half, and it didn't work until Michigan started to make plays. With 4:41 left, Will Reichard hit a field goal to put Alabama up by 7. And again, the only reason Bama went up by 7 instead of 6 was because of the missed extra point. We'll get back to that when I recap this game in its entirety. But you go down the field, and Roman Wilson makes a couple of phenomenal plays, including that pass that got tipped at the line. It somehow still spirals. Roman Wilson has to go up to get it. And I believe it was Malachi Moore that ended up overrunning the play because just didn't think Roman Wilson was going to make the catch or something. And they set up with 1st and goal. Roman Wilson scores, and then Michigan ties the game. Again, that was a very hold-your-breath moment there on that extra point, I think, for the fans of the Maize and Blue. But man, what a game. I mean, Michigan just, Blake Corum, he, now I believe the touchdown leader all-time in terms of running backs in Michigan football history. I believe that was his 25th rushing touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown earlier in the game. So 2 touchdowns for Blake Corum, none bigger than that one right there. And then Michigan's defense just stands up on that goal-to-go situation. Again, I don't think it's the play that Alabama wanted. There was an injury that Jermaine Burton went down with. Hopefully he's okay. He's a phenomenal player. You had time to think about it. They came out in one formation. Michigan called their timeout. They came out in the same formation but flipped it, and then Alabama called their timeout. And I believe they came out in a similar-ish formation, and I think the play got broken. If you want my personal opinion, that's on me. Now, I don't know if the play actually got broken, if that's what Nick Saban's going to say, whatever. But that is what I think happened. I don't think that's what Alabama wanted to run because Michigan, I mean, they crowded the box. I think they were expecting some sort of play where Milroe was going to run it himself, and if that was the play, there probably are going to be some Bama fans and they're going to say, oh, come on now, you called that play in that moment, things like that. But, I mean, Michigan is headed to the national championship. They get over the hump. They win their semifinal game, and they will await the winner of Washington and Texas, as I believe I've stated previously. Now, breaking down this game in its entirety. If you want to see a more thorough breakdown, I'm happy to do one. Well, I'm actually going to do one here. This is just a quick little reaction after this, but both teams had problems securing the football. Both teams had problems with a ton of other things and just Oh, man. Okay, so let me rack my brain. Both teams had trouble securing the football because there were a couple muffed punts on Michigan's side. There, of course, was the snap on the extra point that, first of all, would have won the game for Michigan in regulation. So if Michigan would have lost this game, you would have some of the fan base saying, like, oh, were we really, you know, like, we should have won this game. And they did. So Twitter can relax in that regard. But Alabama had ball security problems too. There were a couple drives that stalled out because there were a couple of bad snaps. There was a snap where Jalen Milroe wasn't ready for it. Jalen Milroe, of course, lost that fumble. Now, Michigan, of course, wasn't able to capitalize off of it. But ball security was an issue for both teams. That's happened to Alabama throughout the year. Uncharacteristic to see Michigan really struggle with holding on to the ball and struggle with some of the fundamentals there. Michigan also did miss a field goal in this game as well, as that snap was high and threw the kicker out of rhythm. But, I mean, Michigan prevailing in the end. I mean, I think they just really strung it together. They made a couple really nice plays, and they tried some different things there late, but they went back to what really worked in that first half, which was the misdirection, getting the offense to move one way and you throw it the other way. I mean, Blake Corum had a play like that, the catch by Roman Wilson. There was really nobody in the area. If that pass had not been tipped, Roman Wilson might have been able to score on that play instead of scoring later in the drive in a goal-to-go situation. And then you have the play that almost lived in Rose Bowl infamy. You had Michigan fumbling the punt return in that late game. And this is where the second muff punt came in. Alabama could have forced a safety out of that. They really, really could have, but great job by that young man whose name is escaping my mind that was back there to return the punt, to end up getting on top of it, getting on top of that ball and securing it, and just Michigan surviving at the end there. I mean, that could have been really, really bad because it had already touched the Michigan player. So, of course, if you recover in the end zone and it's down, Alabama has a safety, and then we could be talking about a whole different ball game here, right? But Jim Harbaugh is going to be advancing again. I'll do a better breakdown here after the second semifinal game. I'll do another quick reaction like that tonight. And then tomorrow, you'll see my reaction in depth to Michigan, Alabama, and Texas, Washington, which is coming up now. This game did have some fireworks at the beginning, but it really slowed down, and the physicality and the defense really started to ramp up. Washington, Texas, that I'm about to go back downstairs and watch, going to be the entirely opposite story. It is going to be fireworks after fireworks. You have Michael Penix Jr., you have Quinn Ewers. That game, my apologies, is going to be absolutely phenomenal. But please, let me know your thoughts on that game in the comment section. I know I didn't really say much during my halftime report, but let me know if you guys like these kinds of videos. And I'm about to go downstairs and watch that second semifinal. Whew. I'm out of breath after that first one. We'll hope the second one is as good as the first. I didn't say it in the last one, but remember, as always, the play hard but tailgate harder. Michigan going to the national championship. See you guys at halftime of Texas and Washington.